Hi, I'm Titli and this is my busy garden. The weather forecast is set fair for a few days and I've got an awful lot I need to do. Let's start with the soft fruit. Last year I didn't have a single blueberry off my blueberry bushes. There was nothing wrong with the blueberry bushes, they were fine. In fact, they gave off a lot of fruit. The problem was that the birds got to them before I did. Well, this year is going to be different. Intruders in my garden! One of terrorists' friends, no doubt. Anyway, this year's motto is protect and survive. Now I'm going to create a very simple fruit cage or fruit net. I'm just going to batter these stakes in because I'll use them to hang a net from. These are actually just tree stakes and they don't have to be particularly substantial because all they're going to do is support a bit of net. Looking good. I'm just going to pop a short nail into the top of each post. Now to protect the blueberries I'm going to use these 4 posts and hang a net over them, but the problem is if I do that it'll just kind of sag in the middle. So I'm going to run some wire between these posts and across to support the net on the top. I'm glad you thought it was funny. And now the cross pieces. I'm quite pleased with that. It's only got to support some light netting. So here's my light netting. It is actually a lot trickier than it looks. Just pop some staples down here to hold the net in place. You know, I originally bought this for reupholstering some chairs. I've had 1,001 uses from it. I've got a few stakes here as well to stake this side into the ground, make sure the birds can't sneak under the net. And there we are, one rather spiffy fruit cage to keep the birds off my blueberries. Now, what's that? How do I get in and out? See? Easy. Now if you remember last year, the birds managed to eat 1 or 2 of my raspberries, most of my jostaberries, a few tayberries and all of my gooseberries. Well, I'm not having that again this year. Protect and survive. Step 1, dig post hole. Step 3, pour in some water. Step 4, pour in some post fixing compound. Step whatever the next one is, make sure it's upright, properly upright. And Robert's your uncle. Now repeat 5 times. Well, that's all 6 posts in. I can't really do anything now until the concrete is set hard. So it's late in the day. I think it's time for a nice bath and a fish and chips supper. And we're back. Now since yesterday the concrete is set, the posts are nice and solid. I've sawn the tops of the posts to pretty much the same level and strung these wires across. Now comes the fun bit. Trying to put this chicken wire on the top. This, if I've done my measurements right, is the correct size. I'm not sure how good this wire is going to be supporting this rather heavy chicken wire. Let's see what happens when we cross over here. got a bit of a problem here because the wire isn't very stiff and it's stretching, and there's a word for that, and I'm not going to say what that word is. So I think my plan is going to be to install another half a dozen fence posts, more expense, and I'm not going to do that this weekend. You'll have to wait until next week to see what happens. The ice cream van's back again. Different tune. Must be a different ice cream man. Anyway, to deal with my crushing disappointment, I'm going to plant up my Alison. And I'm going to plant them in this border here. Bring a bit of colour into it. Well, that's my Alison in. Let's see if we get a nice carpet of snow this summer. Well, before we finish this week, I thought it'd be worthwhile just taking a look around the garden, because things have been shooting up like mad the past couple of weeks. That's all I've really got time for this week. Next week I'm going to be spending a bit more time talking about my vegetables because they need some attention too. And I'm hoping I'm going to get my fruit cage finished before the fruit gets the attention of the birds hovering around the place. I'm really annoyed I didn't finish it this week. Anyway, thanks for watching, and do join me next time in Titli's busy garden. Why? Why did it work? Why?